Hello, this is Michelle. I'm making this recording for Andrea and Angel to further explain, as per their request, how the scoring was done for the implementation portion of the assignment that is an activity, a play activity assignment. And I want to go right down here and show you, here's the part of the rubric from the overall rubric that I am working with. So I just wanted to be sure you understood where that fit into. If you look at the entire rubric, you'll see activity plan implementation 30 points. And I put you all in this category. I actually gave you 5 points because you had the section that I mentioned in our conversation that was done very well. So I'm going to go over this again, and hopefully you will see that it makes sense to not have allotted points for that. So the stated role of each student in the activity was updated because you changed your student group. And I have, let me see if I can find this document. Sorry, I've got all my documents I want to show you today up here on my, here we are. So you basically sent me this updated piece, but it was not in the assignment. It was just in a document like this. So that was what I saw that I thought you were going to be doing that day in terms of roles. So if we go back to the scoring sheet, you'll see, oh, sorry, I've got the wrong one. Let me get the right one up here. Okay, so we have several areas that I had sent to you, all students, ahead of time, so you would know what I would be looking for. And I did have here arrived ahead of time. You are correct. You are not required to come ahead of time. I suggested it. I recommended it. But you were not required to come 30 minutes ahead of time. Again, that was only because you had sent me an email the night before saying that you would be there, and that Catherine was also expecting you at that time. So that I'm not going to discuss any further because it's not relevant to this score. What is relevant is that you were not setting up the activity ahead of time. Catherine was basically providing you with materials and overseeing that process rather than you all having already arranged everything. I would have thought you would have had everything set aside somewhere in the room, perhaps, based on the fact that you said you had stopped by the classroom, I believe you said Friday, and arranged things with Catherine. I did not expect to see Catherine helping you figure out what materials you needed and all of that. So that is why there are no points there for that. The materials were available, but you didn't provide them. So that's a really big problem, as we talked about when I met with you with Dr. Adams. And I have that provided by the teacher, not the students. So hopefully that is clear. That's why there's no points assigned there. I did not observe clearly who was doing what, who had what responsibility. There was so much interaction on the part of the teacher helping you that I really could not figure out who was supposed to be doing what and if they were doing it based on what you had sent me. So I did hear you asking questions. You did a really good job on that. But I can't award points for something that I didn't observe in terms of your roles. you definitely had the accommodations and modifications were used. They were not observed, but they were not needed. So that gets you a check mark. You did introduce the activity, that sort of thing. And I did observe a few interactions with children about that. So I gave you a check. I did give you a check for the activity of play activity not being uninterrupted, as I mentioned to you. And of the children, I did see that they could have extended the activity, so I gave a check for that. And I gave a check again for the guiding questions that I have already noted. So you see there, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks there. So that's why there's 5 points. And then I went on to describe what we talked about, so you have that information. You can read that again if you'd like. And that is the end of that explanation. So I hope that helps.